Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Mark, a trainer here at WEX Field Service Management, and today we're covering onboarding, getting ready to make the switch. This webinar will cover your make the switch overview and your make the switch checklist, your task list to make sure you're on track for making the switch. We'll go over your supplemental data load and some data recommendations to look at after the load is complete, like taking a payment without an invoice or merging customers. And we'll also talk about QuickBooks Sync if you're syncing to QuickBooks. We'll do a live Q&A at the end where you'll get your questions answered live on stream. And without further ado, let's go ahead and start with just an overview of making the switch. Now, in this process of onboarding to switching to WEX FSM, you may have data that you are loading from your previous system. The make the switch day is the day that you will stop entering your customers' invoices and payments into your previous software and start entering those items into WEX FSM exclusively. This acts as a nice clean cutoff for your data transfer. You'll be entering those customers' invoices, payments into your previous software, even through onboarding. But once you make that switch, you'll wake up on make the switch day and start using WEX FSM for operations. Now, at this point, you should know your make the switch date. If not, that's okay. You can just reach out to customer care. It's the little smiley face guy in the bottom right of your system. And you just let them know either, hey, I don't know my make the switch date. Can you remind me? Or, my make the switch date is on Monday, but I'm not going to be ready. Let's push that back. And that's no problem. It's completely up to you. But it is important to communicate that with customer care to make sure that we have the proper date on file for you, because on that day, you will receive a pop-up with a questionnaire that you'll need to fill out. Now, just a brief reminder of your onboarding timeline. At this point, you would have already signed up and submitted your data. Perhaps your initial data load is complete, or it's just getting to the end where it's almost complete. And then your make the switch day should be coming up soon. On make the switch day, just to give you a little more detail of what that day will be like, you will submit your data again as a supplemental data load. And that's going to capture everything you were entering into your previous software while you were training and learning WEX FSM. That is essentially your initial data load that would have been loaded already, but we need to capture the rest of that data, and that is what happens on Make the Switch Day. Now, when we're going to go over more details of Make the Switch, but this is just to give you a basic overview of that timeline. And remember, when you make the switch, you will be using WEX FSM as your main software. We will do your supplemental data load and load that into your system. During this week, while you've made the switch, you're using the system, the sync will be turned off during that time. So everything you're entering will be saved in your WEX FSM system. And once the supplemental data load is complete, we will officially turn on the sync. That way we have a full system of record now syncing down to your QuickBooks. And preparing to make the switch, we just want to make sure that you have finished your Help Center tasks, which we're going to look at. You want to ensure all of your users are added. If you plan on someone using WEX FSM after you make the switch, you want to make sure you enter them into the system. If your technicians are going to use the mobile app out in the field, do you have everyone's mobile app downloaded and ready to go? The features you want to use, are those ready? Now, everyone will start differently, but if you want to use the price book, you got to make sure that's set up. If you want to use maintenance plans, you got to make sure that your maintenance plan templates are set up. Your first week of appointments would be another good one to have. So, let's say that you are going to make the switch on Monday of next week. It would be a good idea to get next week's appointments up on the board and scheduled, and everybody is good and ready to go. That way, the day of or during that week, you're not having to like create those in the moment. Know where to contact customer care, which I'll show you, and know how to submit your supplemental data load, which we will also go over today. So just some preparation tips as we get closer to your make the switch. Now let's visit the Help Center in WEX FSM for some guidance. All right. When you first log into your system, you have the Help Center, which is the little smiley face guy down below here. And if you have been training out of this, then you know where this is. You would go to the tasks, and this is the place that has the main training for onboarding to help you set up your system and learn how to use it. So we're just going to quickly go through some of these. If you are syncing to QuickBooks, whether that's QuickBooks Online or QuickBooks Desktop, you want to make sure that you complete your QuickBooks Sync training. For QuickBooks Desktop users, it does require a sync tool for the sync to happen. So if you have not already and you're using QuickBooks Desktop, you should click this link here to schedule a QuickBooks Sync tool install. They will install that to your computer. They'll do it for you. They'll show you how to use it. And then that little application just runs in the background while you're using WEX FSM for that sync to QuickBooks. Also, this is just an overview of what is sync, what syncs exactly, how does it sync. These have videos for you to watch. And so hopefully at this point you have run through this training. Let's go back. Make the switch. So this is just another great place to remind yourself what to do for making the switch. When do I stop using my old software? Double check your user settings. If you're going to use card readers, you want your technicians to swipe cards and take payment out in the field. Order your card readers from here. Download the mobile app. Transfer your appointments and review additional data loads. Now, for transferring your appointments, just know there's no like loading of appointments. So if you, let's say we're using another software and you have the next month of appointments are in there, we do not have a way to load appointments. So while we are going to load your customers, invoices, payments, things like that, to get ready for making the switch, you will be entering those appointments manually into your calendar, which we do recommend doing. But just a tip for that, I want to make sure I say this nice and clean, is when you're doing your supplemental data load, we're loading your customers' invoices and payments. When you set up your appointments, you may be setting up an appointment for a customer who has not loaded into your system yet. In that scenario, you can add them as a customer, but just make a note of that. Write it down somewhere. Just want to make a note because once the supplemental data is loaded, you may now have a duplicate, which means you created a new customer in WEX FSM, and then we loaded the same customer in the supplemental data load. That's fine. Just know that there will be a duplicate of that customer, and you can very easily merge those customers, which I'll show you at the end. Let's go back here. And then initial setup. This one is great for learning how to add your users. add and update your dispatch groups, review admin settings. This one's huge. Put a gold star on that one. You always just want to make sure your business details are correct, your job types are set up, the legal stuff, your contract terms, warranties, pricing defaults, and price book. And then you can complete the course when you're done with that. Initial setup is going, oh, sorry, we just did that one. Daily to-dos. This is just reminders of different things to do in your system, very common actions. So review your job list to look at flagged jobs so you know how to use your flag for follow-up feature. Proposals report, job summary report, receivables report, very huge one. Fulfilling your maintenance plan commitments, where to check on maintenance plans and schedule them. And then Sync Hub, this is showing you all the pages that have an auto sync status. It will tell you the status of the sync for your customers' invoices and payments. And lastly, we have Learn the Basics. So navigating, learning how to make your way around the system, learn more about creating appointments and jobs, learn how to use the mobile app, learn more about taking payments and payment reporting. And then down below, we have advanced learning, which is going to bring you to the video courses and webinars page. And this is where you can sign up for webinars and watch any replays. So if you scroll down, past webinars, these are all of our webinar recordings. All right, let me check my notes here. Very good. So at this point, maybe you are completely finished with all of these tasks. Maybe you're halfway through. Whatever it is, just make sure you are continuing to use this as a guide, because this will tell you all the places and the things that you need to do before you make the switch. Now, next, I mentioned you want to make sure you get some things set up. If you want price book, if you want maintenance plans, suppliers, you'll need to go in and set those up. So I'm just going to show you a reminder of where to go for some of these things. So everybody needs to add users because you want your team to use WEX FSM. To do this, you will go to Settings, User Management, Users. And so maybe you have already added all your users and you're good to go. But if you have not, you'll come in here, you'll click Add User, fill out their information. Important to know, the email address that you put here and the password, this is what you will send to your employee or whoever's going to be logging in, and that's what they'll use to log into WEX FSM. And then down below, you just want to make sure that you are setting these permissions up as it relates to that user. When you're done, you'll hit save, and that will save them as a user in your system. It will add them to your subscription, and then that person now can use their email and password to log in. Another thing you may want to set up would be your price book. You will go to More Applications, Price Book, My Price Book. And then you just want to make sure that your price book is set up. That way, when you go to create proposals and invoices, you will have the items that you need to add to those job forms and sell those to your customers. If you do not have your price book set up already and you would like some guidance, we do offer price book webinars that you can join, or you can just watch a replay. And again, that is in the Help Center in the bottom, video courses and webinars. You can look to see, let's see, in February, we've got mobile app right here, Pricebook Basics and Pricebook Advanced on the 12th. So you can go to those live, or if you scroll down, they should be right here. Yep, Pricebook and Pricebook Strategies. The Pricebook 101 is the how to set up and manage. That's the one I would recommend watching. Pricebook Strategies is a little more advanced and talks a little more about using the Pricebook for business excellence. All right. So that is, oh, last one, last kind of recommendation is, are you using maintenance plans? So you will go to more applications, maintenance plans. And this is where you will set up your maintenance plan templates. And same thing as Pricebook. You can set this up, but if you want some help or guidance, you can go to the Help Center and either join a maintenance plan webinar or watch the maintenance plan training. All right. So now let's talk about what is going to happen kind of step by step on your make the switch day so you're prepared. Now, I have right here, this is a help article. It's called Make the Switch Day Confirmation. If you would like to see this exact same thing to reference later, you can go to the Help Center and search for Make the Switch. And here it is, Make the Switch Day Confirmation. You can search for this and pull this article up if you want to. So make the switch day. You wake up, you drive in to the office, and it is the official day that you're going to start using WEX FSM to enter your customers' invoices and payments. On this day, because we've already entered it into our system, your system will know that you've made the switch and it will ask you, have you made the switch today? And you will go through a process in the Help Center. It is required that you do this just so it communicates correctly to the data team that we're ready to start the final process of onboarding. And it will say, congratulations, have you made the switch? Click next step. From here, you will have some options. You can either choose yes, let's go, no, I need to reschedule, or I need help. If you click yes, let's go, that means you've made the switch and you're ready to move on to your supplemental data load. If you need to reschedule, that's fine. You just select no, I need to reschedule, and it will ask you to pick a date in the future. And I need help will just send that ticket that you're on to customer care and they will chat back with you. It will ask, what date did you stop entering data into your old software? That is your make the switch date. So yesterday we entered into our old software. Today is officially the day that we are stopping. And so you will enter your make the switch date here. After you've entered that date, it will say, phenomenal. One last question. Do you sync to QuickBooks and have you performed your final sync? Answer that. And then you are ready to submit your supplemental data load. Now, this will be exactly the same as you submitted it prior. If your QuickBooks Online we'll just use your same credentials to log in, access the cloud, and get what we need. If your QuickBooks Desktop, you will need to submit a backup file from your QuickBooks that will export out of QuickBooks as an Excel file with your data in it. You'll submit that here to the data team, and they will be able to load that data. And that will be the make the switch process on that day. After you've completed this, you will just now start using WEX FSM. You're getting calls, you're entering appointments, you're taking notes, your field technicians are out in the field using the mobile app. It's full go time. However, during that time, that will be loading the rest of your data. So the only thing to know there, the sync will be off during that time. You'll be entering that customer invoices and payments into WEX FSM. And then on your, well, once the data team has finished loading that, you will get a message in your system that says your data is loaded, you have a full system of record, and onboarding is complete. The sync is turned on, and now you're officially syncing to QuickBooks. The last thing we're going to take a look at is potential data cleanup. So after everything's loaded in your system, there's a lot of data. There's a lot of different scenarios of things that could happen. I'm sure there's data in your QuickBooks that you don't even know exists that is now going to be loaded into this. After you've made the switch, your data is loaded, sync is turned on. You may notice that you see something like this. It says, customer has one payment that's not fully applied to an invoice. That means that a payment was loaded, but it was not attached to an invoice. And, this needs a home. Now, it may be that you just have a payment that does not have an invoice, and you'll need to make one so you can then assign this payment to that invoice. Or that invoice exists, it just is not connected. So you would need to assign that payment to an invoice. I have already created a $100 invoice, and we have a check here that we need to apply to that invoice. To do this, we will click on the little edit sign here. We want to reassign payment. I'm going to click the invoice number right here, so it puts the newest at the top. And here it is. Let's say that this is the $100 invoice that we want to apply the $100 payment, and we will select it. And we're saying we're going to apply $100 to this invoice, which will now give it a balance of 0. But down below here, we're not making a payment without an invoice anymore, so we need to set that to 0. So we're saying we're taking that $100 payment and paying for the invoice. And original payment is the check that we had sitting here, and the total payment we're applying is the amount of that check, which is $100. This information is already filled out from when it was recorded, and now this is ready to go. So I will click Save. That now goes away. And then if we go to that job, which I've already searched, if you want to make it to the job, you would go to the timeline, search for that job. And if we scroll down, there it is. We have officially applied an unapplied payment. Another thing that you may see is duplicate customers. So one scenario is I need to make an appointment for Tuesday, my make the switch week, but that customer is not yet in my system. So I'm going to create them new, but when we load their account in from QuickBooks, I will need to merge that account. So to do this, you will go to the customers page here. On the customer page, you will search, let's say, for who you want to look for. And when they come up here, let's see. You can select them. And then if you need to search someone else, select them as well. And now that you have these two accounts, you can click merge. And what this is asking first is, which of these do you want to be the master? And so if they're exactly the same, it doesn't matter. Maybe you want the main contact to be uh, Justin instead of Emily, whatever it is. Select them as the master. It will take the other account and merge that account into the master account. But the most important part of this, if you're syncing to QuickBooks, is right here. Warning, not performing this merge in QuickBooks will result in sync errors if the master customer selected in QuickBooks is not the same as the master customer selected in WEX FSM. Uh, you know, so just to break this down a little more, when you are merging, before you merge in WEX FSM, you want to make sure that you make that merge in QuickBooks and make sure that the master you select is the same. And all that is saying is it just wants a one-to-one comparison to sync. So that's the biggest thing. And it does have a reminder here to remind you, make the update in QuickBooks, make sure the master is the same, and then this will merge. Find that master in QuickBooks and then link those accounts. And there you go. That is how to merge customers. And I believe that is it. Oh, final recommendation. After you have made the switch, your supplemental data load is finished, the sync has been turned on, and you are now officially finished with onboarding. The last recommended training is to go to the QuickBooks sync training or just watch the replay. And this will just ensure that you know where to check sync statuses and how to troubleshoot sync errors if there are any errors. And you can just go to the Help Center, go to video courses and webinars, and then, look for the QuickBooks sync training in the live webinars. Otherwise, you can just watch the replay down below here, and it's right here. QuickBooks Sync Training. And maybe just on your calendar after Make the Switch Day, put a little reminder to come and watch this. And just to give you an idea of what that will look like, you can go to Jobs, Invoice List, the whole point of today is so that there's no surprises in this process for you. So you get done, you're finished with onboarding, you've made the switch, everything's good. And then you come to your invoice list and you may notice a not ready status. And so if anything says not ready, that means that it is not ready to sync and that there is something missing from the information to sync over. You can click on details. It will tell you what it wants. So like this one saying it's missing a tax group. I'm just going to give it what it wants by selecting a tax group and hit save. And there we go. Now on the next sync, it'll sync over and that's it. It's simple to troubleshoot these. Just give it what it wants. Do what it says. If it is a $0 price point, that just means that you haven't added any items to that yet. It will always be a not ready status without line items. It has to have line items to sync. But as soon as I add line items to this invoice, it'll just automatically fix itself and get into a ready state and sync over when that sync is ready to go. All right, so that is all the information we have for today's presentation. Hopefully, this is making you feel more confident with getting ready to make the switch. We are going to shift to our Q&A now, so get your questions ready. But I just want to say thanks so much for joining. My name is Mark with WEX Field Service Management, and this has been Onboarding, Preparing to make the switch.